Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll fully admit it. I'm too old now. I'm getting really old. Like I'm in my 30s. My back's starting to hurt. Call of Duty just doesn't hit the same. I loaded up Black Ops 7 when it had its open beta, probably like a couple months ago at this point, and I played like a couple matches, and then I just went to the PlayStation, uninstalled it because I realized I get it. I'm just too old. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been up there building up the old energy drink tower, as you can see. It's starting off a little small, but I'm going through tubs. And one thing about energy drinks is I was thinking, the kids these days, they're on Adderall, right? So, here I was getting some old gamer subs. Code SOG, by the way. Some people, they love chugging coffee. Some people love snorting Coke. I love doing this. Now, of course, you can only do so much of it before your heart pops with all of the goodness inside. So I was wondering, man, maybe if I did like a whole tub of this, I could be as good as the kids. I can. The kids are coming out of the womb with Adderall addictions. It's crazy. Kids these days are just so good at Call of Duty that it's insanity. And, I've just realized I'm old. I don't even understand the game anymore, okay? There's so much sensory overload. But you know what I love about Call of Duty, no matter what, is always the campaigns. I love Call of Duty campaigns. I really do. It's one of my, it's one of the things that excites me, okay, every year. How goofy is the COD campaign gonna be? It's like going to watch a Fast and the Furious movie. I love Fast and the Furious. If you ask me about the storyline to Fast and the Furious, I couldn't answer it properly because I don't know, okay? I walk into the movies because I like the explosions, I like the guns, I like the action, I like the cars. That's what excites me, okay? Anybody that walks into a Fast and the Furious joint expecting a storyline already lost in life, okay? Like, you are a loser if you walked in thinking, like, what the fuck were you smoking, bro? When it comes to a Call of Duty campaign, I'm in there for some guns, I'm in there for some action, I'm in there for some Saving Private Ryan type of shit. That's what gets me bricked up. And then something about Call of Duty Black Ops 7, whoo boy, has me shocked. Now, this is a clip that I'm about to show you. It's going to be a little shocking. This comes from a couple channels that actually played Black Ops 7 around release night. It actually came out yesterday. I was shocked. I didn't even know the release date, which is shocking to me. This might be the most low, like the most lowly hyped COD release I've ever seen. So watch this.
Fire on it! Do some damage!
Shoot it! Shoot that son of a bitch!
I can't, dude. I can't. Somebody told me it's like, Muda, it's like Destiny 2. No, I can see it. They got the whole bar and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, what's so insane about this entire campaign, this storyline right over here, is when I first saw this clip, I shit you not, I immediately went into like boomer mode and I was like, no, that has to be AI. I thought somebody went into Sora for a second, put in a prompt, and this is what it spit out, because it's gotten so good now. No, this is the real campaign. It's a fucking fever dream, bro. Yeah, that is in fact a giant, huge Harper fucking throwing his fists right at you. And yes, it is that stupid, ladies and gentlemen. There's other clips too that I found really shocking, like this boss fight against Menendez. So apparently you can drop in giant fucking machetes. What the fuck is this game even? Like, what is this? And I knew something was wrong when Black Ops 7 got announced so quickly after Black Ops 6. Remember, Black Ops 6 came out like a year ago, okay? And I actually didn't even think Black Ops 6 was super duper bad. I remember at the time the advertising for the game really had me kind of excited. Like, for instance, when they had the whole like Washington, not the monument, sorry, but they had Mount Rushmore completely defaced with these like orange bandanas, and it's like, the truth lies. And the game really did lie. Like, I didn't know what the fuck the campaign was. If you asked me about the Black Ops 6 campaign, I could only tell you that it apparently contained a CIA splinter faction called Pantheon that really felt like they were going somewhere with the story and then it just stops. It just stops out of nowhere. And I was figuring like, okay, they announced Black Ops 7. Are they just making like a second part to that campaign? No, this is a sequel to Black Ops 2, one of the best COD campaigns, in my opinion, of course. And they decided to make it a direct sequel, and somehow Menendez came back, okay? Somehow, and again, I say somehow because I don't understand the intricacies to Black Ops 7, since, no, I have not played through the campaign myself, and I really have no intention or desire to play through it. From what I understand, it's like 4 hours of the same, like, fever dream shit that they throw at you before they turn it into an extraction shooter with the end game, which I guess is like the new trend now. Like Call of Duty, like most games, they're all these like connected experiences. So they have the Adderall requiring multiplayer. They have the campaign that turns into an extraction shooter after you beat it, because that's the whole like gimmick point of this. It's so connected to the internet that apparently people have found out that playing Black Ops 7's campaign, the missions involved, literally have no safe checkpoints. They're always online. You cannot even pause the fucking game to take a shit. A very basic feature that was inside every other campaign for Call of Duty games. Even the online connected dogshit games, they still allowed you to pause the experience. And here's the thing, even if you don't have friends to play with, the game doesn't have any mercy on you. There are no NPC teammates. Like, you don't even get AI friends to help you out, okay? Reminder, this is a Microsoft joint now. They're sticking AI into everything. You couldn't give us 3 friends? You couldn't give us 3 AI homies to play with, Microsoft? Fuck you! Like, what is this? Now, even the zombies doesn't necessarily excite me as much, too. Like, I saw maybe some clips of Dead Ops Arcade 4 that were like, it's kind of interesting. But to be real with you, when I played zombies, it really felt like the experience was so connected to the internet that honestly, like when the zombie starts to have lag, and it's not that lag didn't exist before, but when you start to see zombies like rubber band and like, you know, you fuck around, it just takes you out of the experience completely. Like, I do not care about this much of an online connected experience. In fact, to be real with you, one of the best parts about Call of Duty, and I said this damn near 10 years ago, 9 years ago, you know, when a Call of Duty game came out, you really did get a bunch of content on disc. I remember back when I got Black Ops 2, day one, you know, we ended up getting a stellar campaign, a full multiplayer suite with bots day one. I think you could have even played that locally. I'd have to load the game and check. And of course, the zombies, which, let's be real, Black Ops 2 Zombies was, in my opinion, a downgrade from 1, but at least you had a complete zombies experience without any of this, like, online interconnected bullshit. You know, like, I could harp on how bad the campaign really is, but to be completely upfront with you, like, people, you know, this is the same franchise that had some really banger campaign maps. Like, not too long ago, I would tell you about how amazing experiences like No Russian were. You know, when I talk about Black Ops 6 and the Truth Lies campaign, I was kind of half expecting Black Ops 7, I shit you not, to start off with like 9/11. Okay, like this is a game franchise that was slowly leading up to like the 2000s. Remember, Black Ops 6 took place in the whole 90s, and again, the whole point of the Black Ops franchise is to look at the seedier parts of our military apparatus, right? Like, these are black operations. This is not like supposed to be the good guys. The whole point of these ragtag cast of characters, Russell Adler, Frank Woods, all these motherfuckers, is that they are basically just terrorists, except they work for us, okay? They're the good guys, technically, in the situation. There are bad things that they do, and they have to do these bad things to make sure that you and I can sit down and enjoy our white picket fences and live our lives. But that's the thing about Black Ops 7, right? I was expecting that it would probably touch upon things like 9/11, and I'm sure maybe at some point that might have been a thought that crossed their mind, except I would imagine that currently Microsoft would be like, yeah, I don't know if we should do that because that might be a little controversial. And it's insane because Call of Duty was a franchise that, you know, at one point asked you, hey, pussy, are you a little sensitive? You wanted to turn off a little bit of that sensitive content. And I think that was fine, right? Like, give people a choice. But they were not shying away from controversies. One of the most insane missions in Call of Duty history, in gaming history alone, was No Russian in Modern Warfare 2. You know, the mission where you literally commit an actual terrorist attack at Zakhaev International Airport in Moscow. You literally massacre civilians because you're an undercover operative of the CIA trying to get inside a terror cell until you eventually get betrayed and you get outed as a CIA agent post-mortem and an entire war starts, okay? Black Ops is no different than that too. There are so many missions inside this sub-franchise of Call of Duty that I would consider to be pretty serious in a way too. But even if not going into Black Ops, even missions like Gillies in the Mist, for instance, right, from Modern Warfare, one of my favorite missions in video games in general, just a masterclass in subtle storytelling, are missions that used to exist in these franchises. Hell, you know, we used to give Infinite Warfare a lot of shit too, but Infinite Warfare really isn't that bad of a game when you think about it. At least the single player aspect of it, not so much the multiplayer in my opinion, but the single player was something that I go back to every so often on my free time. It is one of the best COD campaigns that you could get your hands on. You know, you don't even have to go back to the Paleolithic era to dig up when Call of Duty campaigns were actually like, you know, a little bit hardened. You can even go back like to 2019 when they released Modern Warfare, like the actual reboot. And that game was not shy from any form of controversy. Like, aside from the clearing house mission alone, like, which was by far the most controversial mission at the time, where you were like raiding this domestic home in London, which contained like, you know, actual like insurgents or like terrorists. But the mission that came literally before it, I would say, is probably more controversial. Like, Call of Duty was not shy from like showing you what a terrorist attack kind of looks like, right? Like, it was a mission set entirely in Piccadilly Circus, where like out of nowhere bombs go off, like civilians are getting fucking massacred, terrorists are shooting right back at you. Like, it's one of those missions where you get like that sensory overload that isn't this meme. Like, this Call of Duty campaign literally looks like this. I shit you not. You got like everything given right at you. It just feels like complete sensory overload. But in that case, it's good sensory overload because you're kind of just like, whoa, what do I do? Do I save the civilians? Do I fight? Like, what am I supposed to do here? It literally is one of those experiences where you're supposed to see like just the complete loss, if anything, right? Like, it's not supposed to be a winning mission, right? But again, that was like literally 2019. So it's not that far off from like where we're at right now. But I guess it seems so. I guess it seems like that's literally where gaming is kind of at. Or like Call of Duty is just this monstrosity of a franchise now, and it just makes me wonder like why they decided to release Black Ops 7 so close to 6. Like, I really did think that it was supposed to be a second part to this campaign that came out last year. Like, maybe they were going to have the balls to kind of touch upon things like 9/11, maybe dip into some of the conspiracy theories around it, or actually showcase like some parts of the early 2000s, like that early war on Iraq, the invasion, the war in Afghanistan, show you like the darker parts of that story in the Black Ops sense. Now, one of the problems that I think comes from this is just when you go back to even Modern Warfare 3, this is back in the Xbox 360 era. In fact, I whipped out the Xbox just to record this to show you, visually speaking, just the third mission, Hunter Killer, is already better looking than even Black Ops 7. Like, it just has more of an impact. I mean, we used to go from looking at Manhattan being invaded by the Ruskies, okay? Literally invaded. You know, we had to infiltrate submarines and free them from enemy control. And now we're looking at whatever fever dream this nonsense is. I mean, make it make sense. Now, the other thing that also slipped out from the anus of this game was apparently due to the fact that it uses AI. Now, if you go to the Black Ops 7 like Steam page, you'll notice that yes, there is in fact AI usage in this title. And where's the AI usage? Well, it seems like eagle-eyed people are looking at these, just the calling cards and like the obvious Ghibli AI OpenG Chat GPT art that people are seeing. Now, Activision defends this. They're like, yeah, we use a whole bunch of tools. And the thing is, look, if it wasn't the fact that the campaign literally looked like it got scripted out of AI, just, I don't know, man. We're at a point where I feel like in the next 3 or 4 iterations of this franchise, it's all going to be written mostly by Microsoft Copilot than actual human beings on it. And it's such a shame too, because the development teams behind Call of Duty are not necessarily terrible. They have a lot of pedigree as well. Unfortunately, they're kind of just tasked onto creating the most dog shit experiences for literally the piggies to consume. That's literally all this game is for. It's literally for the fucking piggies to open up their mouth and slop from the trough, so to speak. That's it. Really, they've taken what is, in fact, one of the glorious parts of the Call of Duty experience, even for like older people like me, and have just like kind of turned it into another like extraction shooter clone, especially when you get to the end, or a bunch of Destiny like mini dungeons, instead of actually focusing on the campaign that I think people really, really cared about when it came to Call of Duty. But yeah, they had so many things that they could go with, but ultimately they ended up going down a rabbit hole that I don't think anybody really cared for or wanted. But that's what we ended up getting. Now, because of the lack of fanfare surrounding this, I've seen more people play games like Arc Raiders. I've seen more people like streaming shit like Battlefield, like Battle Royale, which honestly, I don't even know how, because I played a few rounds of that and I just don't get it. It really just feels like the most generic shooter you could get your hands on. Battlefield 6 is multiplayer, great stuff on the other hand, but with so much competition, it really doesn't like feel like a Call of Duty release year. Like it just feels like they could have skipped this year, probably focused on a bigger, more bombastic game the next year and have been done with this. Like I don't understand what happened to like the 3-4 year dev cycles. It really did do wonders when they actually made the reboot of Modern Warfare 2019. I really felt like there was a resurgence to Call of Duty that I never expected before. And I don't know if it was like Warzone or the Battle Royale shit that made Call of Duty like turn into this slop fest that it is now. But I thought ever since Modern Warfare 2019, the franchise was going to be renewed. And, you know, because it really, like 2019, no matter how you chop it up, one of the best Call of Duty games, in my opinion, almost perfect in a way. And then they completely, you know, step all over it, spread their ass cheeks goatsy style, and just start shitting on the franchise once again. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird, man. Black Ops 7 looks like dog shit. Was I surprised? Honestly, no. Did I expect, you know, the one thing that I always said was like, I expect the campaign to be good. If they sold the campaign for like $10 separately, I'd play it. I don't even think for $10 I would pay it and play this campaign, because it just seems like complete utter dog shit. And I think most people just agree. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.